So you got this one sister that went to Best Buy and bought a 55-inch TV, and she was kind of struggling, with this 55-inch. But let's go ahead and listen to her story and why she's kind of upset.
Let me just say this, and I don't care if I sound angry, the angry black woman, whatever. But I was struggling to bring my TV, fit it into my car. It was in a big box. It's a 55-inch. It could barely fit into this car. At first, this girl was helping me that worked at Best Buy where I got it from, but we couldn't get it in, and then she kind of left, and I said, I'm going to try and figure it out on my own. I'm sitting out here struggling to get this in my car. Men are walking back and forth. No one is trying to help me. It took an older man to come and see me struggling. He came out, he had a knife. He came out and helped me take the TV out of the box and put it in my back seat. And then he took the box, put it in his truck, and was going to go dump it elsewhere because there's no dumpster nearby. They don't make real men anymore. I'm sorry, I'm not all men because there are good men out there, but it's such a rare thing. It took an older man to do that.
Few things. That older man comes from a different generation than yours, young lady. Second of all, dudes today just not gonna be just jumping in helping you. They're cut from a different cloth. Number three, with men opening doors or men just giving compliments and being nice, they have been called weird and what are you doing and been insulted literally and been called predators and all kind of things, and men try to offer things. So I noticed you didn't say you asked a man for help. Now, if you would have been nice and say, hey, you know any way you can help me with this? I promise you a brother would have helped you if you would have asked him nicely to do so. But just trying to struggle on your own and a man watching you today, they really not going to jump on it, especially these millennials and Gen Z young men. I would say maybe a brother from my generation, Gen X, probably will a little bit faster than these younger brothers, but y'all on something a little different, and even brothers in my generation kind of pull back on y'all too because of that Me Too movement, and we don't want to be accused of being a predator or whatever. Now, I don't know where you at, but I would say in the South, the men would have helped you out a lot faster in the South. I don't know where you at because that's just our Southern culture. We're more helpful. Down here in the South, we're more hospitable, in the South. So I don't know exactly where you was at. Now I know just from traveling, going up north, going East Coast, West Coast, y'all not the same like we are down here. I know that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying people couldn't be nice up there, but y'all just not going to be jumping to help somebody unless you ask. I would say that much. So I didn't hear us say ask, but let's continue.
I have been 70, 80 years old, and it took him.
Okay, you say he was 70, 80 years old, so he was good up there.
Not all these young, fit guys. It took him. We got to go back to the drawing board because it's just crazy how much as a woman, you don't see men holding doors anymore. They don't help anymore. They rush and sit down on trains and buses before women and pregnant women and elderly are sitting down. It's just a hot mess out here. But I think that man, he is going to be extremely blessed. Even when I tried to offer him some cash, he didn't want to take it. But yeah, that was just an insane experience.
Well, that's the same thing the men have been saying as well, that they don't make women like they used to either. When we look back on our grandmothers and our great-grandmothers, our aunties and different ones from maybe even that same generation that you're talking about, that's 70 years old, 80 years old, men are saying exactly the same. You're right. The need to go way back to the drawing board. I'm with you 100%. I believe men need to go back to the old school ways. I believe women need to go back to the old school ways as well. I am not for this new age anything because it doesn't work. I've seen it. It does not work. Y'all had your years to try it, and what happens? Your marriage rates in the toilet. Single mothers everywhere, right? Women today have just doing whatever they want to do. They mark themselves up full of tattoos. And I was noticing something, looking at Sexy Red, them types, right? But I looked at Lotto the other day. I think they were showing when she was a video of people throwing things at her, and she was tell them throw it again. I'm gonna hit you or whatever. And I noticed Lotto isn't full of tattoos. I'm not saying she don't have a tattoo here and there, but she's not full of tattoos. A lot of these women today are full of tattoos. And that's something that the women back in the past did not do, is get full of tattoos. Really, women that got a bunch of tattoos, those were women who was on the track. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean when I say they on the track. You women that's like respectful and all that didn't cover themselves full of tattoos. And the thing is about that, let's say, okay, well, I want to change my life. Get rid of the tattoos. That in itself would now, of course, you got some men out here who like that hood look, because to me it makes you look hood. And that's fine for those men, but those men that say they really want a wife and want certain things, they don't want their wives full of tattoos all over the place. I mean, come on. I mean, no. Because grandma didn't have all that mess. And grandpa didn't have all that mess either. But the old school worked. The old school ways worked. The way they did family, that worked. And it was instilled in the men to help the women. Because the women, it was instilled in them to be feminine and allow a man to help you. It was none of this, I'm a boss chick, I can do it by myself, I don't need a man. No. Those women said, oh, I need a husband. I definitely need my husband because I need him to be a father of these kids. I am not trying to be paying these bills by myself. I'm not trying to raise these kids by myself. I don't want to be by myself. See, those women had a need for their husbands. And in that generation, they taught that. And that generation taught the men to take care of a family, protect your family, help women in need, because they are feminine and they are the weaker sex. I know today to say, oh, they the weaker sex. How dare you say, listen, it's true. You don't have the strength of a man, period. So as women is viewed as the weaker sex, the women is viewed as they need to be protected and provided for, then men step in and do that. But when you traded in your femininity for masculinity and trying to walk as a man, men is not going to help other men. Not like that. Unless a man say, hey, bro, you mind helping me? Then, a man can struggle all day. Nobody going to help a man unless he asks. So get rid of the masculinity and return back to the femininity that our grandmothers and great grandmothers walked in. Trust me, it'll change the dynamic.